Hi folks, today I bring a LC75711 driver from the SANYO brand. It is on a panel with a VFD that has a red tone filter that causes some loss of brightness and grace. However, it is still a driver with interesting characteristics, as it has an internal ASCII table which make it easier to send the text to the VFD, as the management is the responsibility of the driver. Allows the user to create 8 symbols. I used 4 spaces of day to create 4 animations as one example, and left the other 4 with the 5x7 matrix filled with bright. It is a driver without case, but curious the panel also does not have them. Despite having space for them, with the tracks going direct to the connector. To be able to communicate with the driver, we must make use of the data, clock and chip enabled pins, not forgetting the GND as the reference to the Arduino. We also have the reset pin that appears in the panel connector marked as a BLK. In this case, the pin 10 of the Arduino has used to control it. To bring the panel to life again, we make use of the 2 power sources of the 5 volts. One go to the power up the filament. The other go to the power up both converters DC-DC and to power up the driver in the panel. These both converters DC-DC are used as a serial association, and this results in the 36 volts because the first is plus 24, the second is 12, and the limit voltage of the driver is 45 volts. The output of the association of the converters result in 36 volts. The plus of the 36 go to the GND direct, and we stay in front of less 36 volts. This pin of the last 36 volts go to the panel in the VFL pin, and at the same time through a resistor of 100 ohms, for example, go to the filament to make the reference. And the GND reference to the Arduino is important, and this is enough to power up the panel. This is one method to power up our panel, and you can see both power sources of the plus 5 volts, and these both sources must be total independent. This power source here is the responsible to the power up the filaments, and we use 2 diodes in serial to force the drop of the 0.7 volts, and the result will be near of the 3.6 volts to power up the filament. Of course, the ideal method is use the AC voltage, but to our test this is enough, okay? We use 2 DC-DC converters to reach the voltage near of the less 36 volts, and the connection of the both converters in the serial result in the less 36 volts because the pin plus of the output of the second converter go to the GND, and this result, this pin here will be near of the less 36 volts. And we use the reference to our filaments through a resistor of the 100 ohms. The less 36 volts go to the VFL pin of our IC direct, and this power source is responsible to power up the both converters and at the same time our LC75711. The reference of the less 36 volts to the filament can be applied to the positive or negative of this power source. And is very important, these both converters are totally isolated from the input block to the output block. This means they converters cannot use the same point marked as GND or less as output.